Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rita.
And the video you're about to skip is a making of that shows the process that we go through to make one of our toon sandwiches. In this case, the Captain America Civil War Trailer 2 spoof.
Okay, let's get started.
The making of a toon sandwich can be divided into 6 stages. The first stage is the writing, although it's mostly just sitting down, watching the actual trailer, trying to come up with silly gags than actual writing. And here's some fly on the wall, phone on the tripod footage of that happening. What is it good for?
Oh, what did I say? Bulletproof baby.
Oh, he takes his mask off. Bulletproof baby! No.
You're doing 9 life.
Only curiosity can kill me. Yeah, after bulletproof baby. Like, and then he's like, oh, I wonder why that is. And he dies.
I wonder why that is.
I reckon we'll swap these shots. An explosion, and then what she says. No wonder they don't want bombs at airports.
Someone forgot to declare a bomb. Or did someone just leave their cell phone on? I think it was funny if you like switch off all electronic devices. Because that's what they say
that's the phrase,
now. They're like, yeah.
So this is what happens when you don't switch off all electronic devices.
Yes, I will marry you.
I will marry you. This proposal is coerced.
He gets like eaten by a Venus flytrap? Ant-Man, meet Plant-Man. I can do this all day and then do like the 24 hours later and he's like standing in front of his grave with his shield against it, you know, and he's like, what part of Final Warning?
I mean, he says like, I can stand here all day, so we make a point of, make a point of being such a short,
Well, 17 seconds is close to a full day.
PLATTER, wasn't done, waiting. You know, like just waits. Now, with robotic eye squinters, holy crud! And then it zooms out, and his little, whatever he's landing on there, that little tug truck is like now on a desert highway somewhere.
Where the heck am I?
Once all the terrible gags have been fleshed out, a very rough script is typed up, and that's used in the next stage, which is the recording of the voices.
This is where we record all of our voices. Now, it's tech, we know. I can't get any fatter, and neither can Joe, because we have this much room to work with in order to get in and out. Once in this beautiful studio, you have all the luxury of your very own drop light and microphone here. Few clothes here for padding, few clothes there. Professional.
Rolling in. We go.
I'm not the one that needs to watch their back. I'm the one that needs to watch their front. Do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? It's harder when I do it louder.
This doesn't have to end. Press record. This doesn't have to end in a fight, Tony. What are you kidding? It's a Marvel movie. Cheap shot. You got something on your shirt?
You realize we're not the ones destroying the cities, right? I don't know if we should fight. Scarlet's an awesome first name.
You have my permission to not be so critical.
Not even fictitious cities are safe.
I don't much like the name Vision.
Dark Vision, I will marry you.
It's so hot in here too. It's like I'm dying in here.
From this point on, everything happens in the computer, so I take all those recordings, bring them into Pro Tools, and try and pick out all the best takes, or in my case, the least terrible, and cut together a guide audio track, which has all the dialogue, all the timing, and key sound effects such as punches and gunshots, which can be used as a guide for animation. So that's the third stage, and then the fourth and biggest stage is the video stage, which all takes place in Adobe Flash. Flash! The video stage takes longer than all the other stages put together, and it can be broken down into 6 phases, because we've already used the word stages. Although the very first thing that happens is to pick out key stills from the actual trailer to be used as a tracing reference. First phase is to create all the backgrounds, just tracing those stills, just guessing what's appearing behind characters and so on. Some of them require a lot of detail, others are out of focus anyway, so they're a lot quicker to do. Here's some of the backgrounds that feature in the Trivia War. Trivia War? What? The second phase is to create all the characters and objects that are going to be moving in front of those backgrounds. Characters that have to be animated need to be divided up into body parts. Once again, those stills are used to trace the characters. The only real change is that I make the eyes about 30% larger than normal. Don't ask me why, it just works better somehow. The tracing is fairly straightforward. It's a bit tricky sometimes matching the lighting on the skin without it looking weird. The lighting was especially tricky in the latest X-Men sandwich. Here are all the key characters that appear in this trailer. Here are all Tony Stark / Iron Man's arm objects that had to be drawn separately so they could be animated. Here are all the other arms that appear in the trailer and legs. And here are some of the objects that get animated. Once you've drawn something in Flash and made it a symbol, you can add filters to it such as blur, glow, drop shadow. So for example, a lot of the time the background object is blurred to create better separation between it and the foreground objects. Third phase is to draw all the different face shapes that will be required during the animation. Mouth, eyes, and brow. Here are all the face shapes created for Tony Stark in this video. Every time his head appears in a different shot or in a different angle, that's a whole new set of face shapes that have to be drawn if he needs to express or speak. So every possible variation of that mouth shape is drawn as a separate frame for that object. And here are all the different face shapes that were created for this trailer, playing out all their different frames. And now we're on to the biggest and fourth phase of the video, which is the animation phase, and it itself has 5 different types. So now we are 3 layers deep, it's Inception. If we drop any deeper, we're in limbo. The first type is thumbnail animation. So all the different variations of each of those face shapes can be brought up as thumbnails in this little plugin called Keyframe Caddy, and can be used to animate the mouths and the eyes and the brow of each of the faces. So here's a couple of Black Widow's mouths being animated to speak, syncing it up to the dialogue in the guide audio track. So thumbnail animation for me is mostly just used for animating faces. The second type is the most common type, and that's motion tween animating. It allows you to take any object you draw and keyframe its position, scale, and rotation on the Z-axis over time. So this method is used for the majority of head and limb movement, as can be seen in these examples, sometimes moving and rotating entire characters. In this shot, Iron Man's arm has been divided into 3 objects, all being motion tweened. And in this shot, the arm object has different positions drawn for its hand that can be switched between during the animation. The camera as well is something that could be motion tweened. In this shot, the scale and position of the camera is being keyframed over time to zoom in to Spider-Man. The third type is shape tweening. It's sort of like motion tweening, only you're tweening between 2 different shapes. It works great for simple one-color shapes like smoke and dust, but when you try and do something more complex, it freaks out. So in the most recent trailer, when there had to be a slow transition between 2 different faces, I was originally going to do it frame-by-frame animation, but that was looking really dodge. So shape tweening came to the rescue, and the shot was ultimately achieved by cutting up both the A face and the B face into simple one-color shapes that corresponded to each other and could be shape tweened between. Thank you, shape tweening. And then there's the fourth type, which is every animator's favorite. Frame by frame. So when things move in ways that are too complex to achieve using the other methods, manually drawing each frame of the animation is your only choice. And it can take a little while. Flash has options that allow you to see a ghost image of the previous frame or the next frame as you're drawing the current frame, which is very helpful. This sort of animation is mostly used for big character movements, animating arms, that sort of thing. Here it's used to flip a truck. It's also the only way to really do fluid elements such as smoke and fire. And the last type is really just combinations of these 4 different methods. So for example, in this shot, Captain America's eyes and mouth are being thumbnail animated, his head and upper body and Spider-Man's webs are being motion tweened, while his arms and underpants are being frame by frame animated. These bullet hit elements are a combination of 3 methods: frame by frame for the initial sparks, shape tweening for the smoke, and motion tweening for the debris. More recently, I've had to find ways to create large-scale particle effects, as seen in the X-Men sandwich. In this shot, a single element of debris was created and duplicated a whole heap of times, and each one of those was motion tweened separately. That's a more time-consuming way to do it, but another way was to create small repeating animated textures that could then be stitched together into larger things. And that was used to create these debris snakes and this supernatural sandstorm. So here's another simple object that, by copying it in different ways, can be used to create larger animations. In this case, it's a mask to reveal one object over another. And here's just a quick look at some of the more difficult shots coming together for this sandwich. And you can see how valuable it is to be able to have so many different layers of animation on top of each other. Blowing up New York? And now for blowing up Leipzig, yeah. When will they learn? This explosion element is just 2 different objects blended together with glow filters added and keyframed on and off as they spin upwards together. These shots probably took the longest to do. Repeating running cycles had to be drawn frame by frame for each of the characters, although it was easier once you'd drawn the first running cycle, because then you could use it as a guide for drawing all the other ones, and then each character is motion tweened to run into the center of the screen. So that was animation, and then the 5th phase, sorry, I was about to say stage. The 5th phase of the video is just drawing the image for the end screen and putting in the 5 hidden breadcrumbs, which was Deadpool in this one. There he is now! Deadpool, you little skater boy. And of course, creating the YouTube thumbnail, often using elements plucked from the trailer itself. Once that's done and all the final video fixes done, it's the overlays, which are done in Adobe After Effects, and that's putting in the letterboxing to match the original trailer and adding in the little video montage for the end screen. Then it's the 5th stage, which is the music. This is done in Apple GarageBand, using some of their jam packs, trying and failing every time to recreate the music that you hear in the actual trailer. And the very final stage is doing the final audio in Avid Pro Tools. So we go back to that original guide audio armed with our final video, adjust all the dialogue levels, try and get rid of artifacts, add reverb, add the music in we just made, adjust the levels of that, add all the final sound effects and adjust their levels, a lot of level adjusting, add a bit of panning, and when that's all done, we've export the final audio, add it to the final video, and the sandwich is finished and ready to eat. 700 hours later. That is a hard to make sandwich.
Huzzah!
And that's the end. If you've made it this far, hi Mum. No, seriously, yeah. No, seriously, thanks so much for watching. Hope we didn't go into too much detail. Well done for getting through it all.
And stay tuned for our next Toon Sandwich. Doctor Strange, coming soon.
Stand-in. There actually is a shot where it's clearly her stand-in. That's ScarJo.
The colour of the hair is pretty much the only thing that changes, though.
She probably works with Scarlett Johansson all the time. Like some actors have like a stunt double that does every film with them, so that's probably her.
A good match, huh?
So now we've ruined their trailer.
Let's
ruin ours.
What is this? Not Hawkeye? Flughafen is the airport, Leipzig, Halle.
Oh, this is in Germany.
Yeah, this is Germany. This
It's
is
a
set in
German
Germany.
airport.
That's Leipzig. Our film, The Killer Screen, in Leipzig.
What?
Yep. Is that new enough? Not even fictitious cities are safe. No, not even fictitious cities are safe. Not even fictitious cities are safe. Keep going.
Why can't you people just let supers be super?
Washing down. What?
Da Vision. Da Vision. Now I sound like
This is the last chance if anyone would.
Scarlett's nice and fit. It's a hard first name to say, I'll tell you. Awkward. We're not the ones saying it. I can still hear it, like I can still hear the oh, I like fairies. I'm recording sounding. What?